I want to continue reading some of this report from the Integrity Commission. The executive summary says during the financial year 2023-2024, the Commission continued to make progress in the undertaking of its mandate, guided by its established strategy priorities. It was a very extraordinary year for the Commission, one in which the entity achieved an overall creditable performance in its statutory and operational activities. And these are the details they say, though some of them were not without challenges. They say, pursuant to Section 5, subsection 4 of the Act, the Commission is headed by commissioners who are responsible for the governance and oversight of the organization. In the performance of its functions under 17 and 25, the Commission during the reporting period convened 14 meetings of commissioners, 16 Audit Finance Committee meetings, 11 Corruption Prevention meetings, 7 Resource and Corporate Governance meetings, 17 Information and Complaints meetings, 14 Investigation and Corruption Prosecution Committee meetings. And then they go on with more. The anti-corruption activities now. The Commission recorded compliance rate regarding the submission of statutory declarations of 70% for public officials and 88% for parliamentarians. For the 2023 statutory declaration intake. God, I don't understand. Maybe it is how they've put the objects of the law, or that opening paragraph that they have at the top, where they say something about parliamentarians and other public officials. Maybe that is why the Commission insists on segregating the thing public officials and parliamentarians. And this is the thing that has created all of the problems, you know. Yeah? This is what started everything. So we get, even for compliance, we get a different breakout for public officials, and separate for parliamentarians. So we hear 70% of public officials submitted statutory declaration and 88% of parliamentarians complied. During the reporting period, the Commission's compliance rate showed increases for all statutory declaration periods, recording the highest compliance rate. Of 84% for the 2021 statutory declaration period. I don't even know what this means. Because if you told us about 88% for parliamentarians, how could you say the highest compliance rate was in 2021 of 84%? Is this now the overall average for the entire group of public servants when you include parliamentarians? Perhaps. The Commission also examined a total of 1,268 statutory declarations. So this is the problem here. They don't give us the total numbers yet of what was submitted. They gave us the percentages of compliance, the percentages for the rate of compliance. But in the next sentence, they tell us they examined a total of 1,268 statutory declarations and certified 988 of those during the reporting period. Both examination and certification reflected a 125% increase over the period, and 7 declarants were referred for investigation. There are too many things operating in this thing, in this one paragraph alone. When you are giving percentages, you must also give us the actual number you're dealing with. So we have percentages in the first couple sentences, and then they go on to give us numbers, and then they give us percentage increase. I'm sure later down in the document, based on some of the reporting I've seen, they've given you both the actual number and then deal with percentages. But this particular paragraph on statutory declarations is giving you percentages one time, then numbers that they examined, then numbers that they certified, and then they tell us the percentage increase in examination and certification over the period, and the number of declarants referred for investigation. And I told you we have to figure out what this word means, referred for investigation. Yeah? I suspect based on what is in the law, it may mean a complaint comes in to the Director of Information and Complaints. It's sifted and it passes the sniff test. And it's then referred to the Director of Investigation for an investigation into whether there is more that can lead to a possible charge of one of the variants or the creatures under this broad umbrella of corruption. Then they tell us 172 complaints and information were received or identified for assessment by the Commission during the reporting period. What does it mean to be identified for assessment by the Commission? 19 of the complaints / information assessed were referred to the Director of Investigation. So they got 172, but out of that it appears 19 were referred or sent to the Director of Investigation. 85 were closed. So the Information and Complaints Director, perhaps having assessed it, formed the view that 85% of them couldn't go any further, and 7 of them they're keeping in review. The Commission prioritized the more serious complaints / information received during the reporting period. And I've heard some people say, or the view has been posited, that it appears that whenever a call is made to the Integrity Commission or information provided, which may be, as I said, based in sus or malice or any sort of unfounded allegation, then it is somehow propped up to top shelf and becomes the source of anarchy. Come here for me, please. And becomes the source of something in the report. However, it appears from what we're seeing here that there is more than that, in that 172 complaints and information were received, and out of those, only 19 referred to the Director of Investigation and 7 were kept in view. Okay? So I don't think it's pure sus under which they're operating. The mere fact that they record the number of complaints received, but the number directed to investigation, which is a lower number than the complaints received, it says a lot. Am I to join? Let's join I've just had a call from the speaker. We've been trying to reach her, and she's just called back. We're going to connect with her quickly for 2 minutes before we end the program. 876, well, let's see if we can get onto that. The Commission, as designated authority, continued to focus on operationalization of protected disclosures. The Protected Disclosures Act of 2011. 143 of the 169 protected disclosures procedural guidelines received from public bodies were approved by the end of the reporting period, 31st March 2024. All right. So the accounting period runs like the fiscal year, and they table their report by the end of June of the year. That's about 3 months after the end of the reporting period. This a lot. I was just on page 12 for the executive summary, and at the appropriate time we'll go through some of those. I'm going to join